My dear Ferns, it has been so long since we have read The Wishing Chair, and I thought we would go back a chapter just so we could remember where we were when we left off a long time ago. So this is chapter 9, Mollie and the Growing Ointment. The children were very pleased with the chair's beautiful new green and yellow wings. "They're much better than the little red ones it used to grow," said Peter. "Your great auntie's growing ointment is marvelous stuff, Pixie. I only hope that the chair will grow its wings more often now." The green and yellow wings disappeared, of course, as soon as they were all safely at home again. The chair stood still in its place, looking quite ordinary. The children patted it. Good old wishing chair. "Grow your wings again soon, for you haven't taken us yet to the land of goodness knows where." Well, the chair did not grow its wings again that week. Friday came, and Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. The children grew tired of asking Pixie if the chair was growing its wings yet. On Tuesday, a spell of rainy weather began, and it really was too wet to play any games out of doors at all. The children went down to their playroom day after day to play with Pixie, and that was fun. But on Friday, Pixie said that he really must go and see how his dear old mother was. "I haven't seen her since I came back to you with the chair," he said, "so I must go today." "Oh, bother, we shall have to do without you," said Mollie. "Well, just suppose that the chair grows its wings, Pixie, and you're not here." "Well, that's easy," said Pixie with a grin. "Simply sit in it and wish it to go to my mother's. She will be very pleased to see you again, and then we can all three of us go adventuring somewhere." "Oh, we will do that, if the chair grows its wings," said Peter. "Well, goodbye, Pixie. Will you be back tonight?" "Yes," said Pixie. "I'll be sleeping on the old sofa as usual, don't worry. I'm not taking my wand with me, by the way, so do keep an eye on it, won't you?" For Pixie had just bought a new wand, a very useful one that had quite a bit of magic in it. And he was very proud of it, and he kept it in the cupboard with the toys and the games. "Oh yes, we'll look after it for you," said Peter. "We won't use it, we promise." "Oh, I know you won't," said Pixie. "Well, we'll see you tonight." And off he went to catch the bus to his mother's cottage, dressed in his full rain gear. The children felt decidedly dull when he had gone. "Would you like a game of cards, Mollie?" said Peter. "No, I'm bored with cards today," said Mollie. "Well, you're not going to be very good company then," said Peter, taking down a book. "I'll read. You can tell me when you've finished being boring, and then we can think up an exciting game." Mollie lay down on the rug, and she shut her eyes. What a pity it had rained and rained for so long. Even if the wishing chair grew its wings, it wouldn't be much fun going out in the rain. They'd have to take the umbrella with them. Mollie opened her eyes and looked out the window. Why, the sun was shining, and yet it was still raining. "I say, Peter, look at this rainbow," said Mollie. "It's glorious. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely to fly off to a rainbow in the wishing chair? If it looks as beautiful as this far away, what would it look like very near to us? Oh, I do wish the wishing chair would grow its wings this very afternoon." Now Peter took no notice, for he was deep in his book. Mollie felt a little cross. She wandered around the room and opened a little cupboard where Pixie kept some of his things, and there on the shelf was the jar of growing ointment that Great Aunt Quickfingers had given him to make the wings of the wishing chair sprout again. Mollie took down the jar and opened up the lid. There was plenty of ointment left. It was yellow with streaks of green in it, and she wondered if perhaps it would make the chair's wings grow again, although Pixie's great auntie had said it only acted once on anything. "I'll try it," thought Mollie, "and I won't tell Peter. And if the wings grow, I'm going to fly off in the wishing chair without him. And I'm going to go to Pixie's all by myself, and that'll serve him right for not answering when I speak to him." And so she went over to the wishing chair, and she rubbed a little ointment on one of its front legs. Nothing happened at all. She couldn't feel even a tiny bud of a wing beginning to grow, for the growing ointment certainly did not act twice. Great Aunt Quickfingers was right about that. And then a wonderful thought came to Mollie. Why shouldn't she try a little bit of the magic ointment on something else? She looked around. Her dolls, for instance. Oh, if only she could make wings grow on Rosebud, her prettiest doll. That would be really wonderful. Feeling very excited, Mollie took her doll Rosebud from her cot, and she rubbed a little of the green and yellow ointment onto her back, and hey presto, wing buds began to form, and little green and yellow wings sprouted out on the doll's back. And she suddenly left Mollie's knee, and she flew, yes, she flew around the playroom. She flew near Peter, and he felt the wind of her little wings, and he looked up, and his eyes almost dropped out of his head as he saw Rosebud flying gaily around the room. Mollie laughed in delight, and she tried to catch the doll as she flew past. "I've put some of the growing ointment on her back," she said. "You know, what Pixie's great auntie gave him for growing wings on the wishing chair," and then Rosebud grew wings. "Well, I never," said Peter in amazement. "I say, do you think my engine would grow wings too?" said Peter suddenly, for he had a wonderful clockwork engine, a perfect model that he was very proud of. "Oh, yes, let's try and see," said Mollie. And so they got the engine, and Peter smeared a little bit of the ointment on it, and it sprouted out small wings at once. And it flew from Peter's hand and joined the doll, and the two children laughed until their sides ached to see the two toys behaving like this, for they really did look extraordinary. And then Mollie and Peter went quite mad with the ointment. They smeared it onto a top, and it flew around the room, spinning as it went. They smeared all of the marbles, and they shot round and round, some of them bumping into one another in the air. They made some of the toy soldiers fly, and they even gave the blocks wings to fly with. And all of these things flapped their way around the room, and Mollie and Peter screamed with laughter as they tried to dodge the flying toys. Mollie went to the toy cupboard to see if any toy was there that could be made to fly as well, and she picked up Pixie's new wand and put it over to one side. But dear me, her fingers were smeared with the growing ointment, and the wand at once grew tiny, graceful green and yellow wings too, and it flew out of the cupboard and it joined the flying toys. "Oh dear, there goes the wand," said Mollie. "I do hope Pixie won't mind. I just touched it by accident with the ointment that was smeared on my fingers, and it grew wings." "Look, I've made the teapot fly," said Peter, and he roared with laughter to see it flapping its way around the room. "Look at all those marbles colliding again." The wind suddenly blew the door wide open, and then a dreadful thing happened. Rosebud the doll, the engine, the marbles, the bricks, the top, the teapot, the wand, in fact, everything that had grown wings shot straight out the open door, flew down to the bottom of the garden, and disappeared. "Oh," said Mollie in fright. "They're gone," said Peter, and he rushed to the open door, but he could see nothing. No Rosebud, no engine, nothing. They had all vanished into the blue. "Oh dear." "Shall we get them back?" said Mollie. "Why did I ever begin to smear the growing ointment on anything? That was a silly idea. Now I've lost Rosebud." "And what about my engine?" said Peter. "And I say, Pixie's magic wand has gone too." And they stared at one another in dismay, for Pixie's new wand that he had saved up for and was so proud of, it had grown wings, and now it had flown out the door and vanished too. This was dreadful. "We shall have to tell Pixie when he gets back tonight, and ask him if we can possibly get the things back," said Mollie. "If we knew where they had gone to, we could fetch them. Do you suppose they've gone to Great Aunt Quickfingers?" They said no more to one another, but they sat solemnly side by side, hoping and hoping that the things would fly back as unexpectedly as they had flown away, but they did not. Pixie came back at 6:30, looking very merry and bright, and bringing a big chocolate cake from his mother. But he stopped when he saw their doleful faces. "What's up?" he said. "Anything happen?" And they told him. And Pixie listened in astonishment, and he leapt to his feet when they spoke about his wand. "What? You don't mean to tell me that you were silly enough to meddle with my wand? Surely you did not make my wand grow wings too?" "Oh, it was an accident," said poor Mollie. "I must have had some of the ointment on my fingers when I moved it, and so it grew wings too. I am so sorry, Pixie." "Where have the things gone to, Pixie? Do you know?" asked Peter. "I don't know," said Pixie. I haven't the least idea. All I can say is the next time the wishing chair grows its wings, we'll have to tell it to go wherever the toys have gone. But goodness knows where it will take us to. And when we read together again next, it will be Chapter 10, Off to Find the Toys.